it has to continue. I mean, if it doesn't continue, it means that we are not seeking the national interest. It means that what we do is just for political power. Then what's the end? We lose credibility.
Order from above.
And it means that you have just wasted all your time, risked your life for nothing. So it's going to continue. And you see, even with the exposés, remember that more than 95% of them did not receive any action. As we speak, let me list a few of them. The criminals who rebagged the expired Moshosho rice in a government facility. Can you believe that? In a government facility, the National Food Buffer Stock Company, and went to serve our children over 22,000 bags of rice. Served our children across secondary school with that insect-infested, contaminated rice, according to the FDA's own test results of 6 February 2024. Nobody has been held liable. The NAFCO people who conspired with Laments, that dubious company, dangerous. If you read the Auditor General's report, if you look at their conduct as revealed by the Auditor General in 2021, nobody has been held liable. I have to continue. I must be interested. I must pursue this matter to the logical conclusion. The directors of Laments must be prosecuted. The people at NAFCO who allowed their storage facility to become a crime scene, to be used for that criminal rebagging, which has jeopardized the health of our students. We have to go after them. The ambulance spare parts cabal, the president's daughters and their business partners, who inflated the purchase of the ambulance. We should not have paid anything beyond $24 million. We paid over $54 million for the ambulance. And then for spare parts, $34.9 million before Ken Ofori-Atta left office, after he was booted out. He released $10 million to them. We have to go after that. So this crusade will continue whilst we are in government. And then, you see, when people keep asking, oh, will you expose the corruption of your... It creates a certain impression as if all of us are coming to power to just come and loot. I don't think that President Mahama will tolerate this, will allow what we have seen under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government to continue. So if there's nothing to expose, you can't intercept. But if there is, certainly we have to expose it. Don't forget that under the first Mahama government, look at what happened to even the likes of Victoria Hammer, just for dreaming. Compare that to Cecilia Dapa, actual $1 million under her bed, more than that. And what did the president do? When she resigned, the president responded with a love letter. My dear Cecilia Dapa, I know you've been vindicated. You will come out clean. Your love letter. How do you expect that after that love letter, IOCO, OSP, CID, the state institutions responsible for investigation, prosecution will do their work? Because you don't want to be on a collusion course with the appointing authority. You don't want to expose the president. So, is anybody surprised that nothing happened? There are more scandals. The land grab, the AU village lands that they paid 183,000 cedis for. I mean, 183,000 cedis. Land that even if you have $1 million, you struggle to get. Nobody will even entertain your offer. 183,000 cedis. And you have governor of the central bank, all his deputies, top ministers, women organizer of the NPP. They shared it among themselves like confetti. So Operation Recover All Loot. We have not forgotten about all of that.
Okay.
The airport testing scandal, the COVID-19, Benedict Peters and the Nigerian cabal who conspired because they are Akufo-Addo's cronies and came to engage in that loot. It's been confirmed, the health minister confirmed in parliament during vetting that they did not even have approval from HEFRA. They didn't follow the procurement laws. And yet, this guy, when people were dying during COVID, came to just loot and walk away, has pocketed hundreds of millions of dollars. Then DRIP, the Baumia's flagship project, the District Road Improvement Project. Let's serve notice. If you look at that contract, they want the new government to pay the rest. It's not going to happen. Okay. It is inflated by $102 million. After intercepting the documents, doing an RTI request, I ask for the prices of this road equipment, road construction equipment, as if, I sent emails presenting myself as though I was interested and wanted to procure, And I was shocked. The levels of inflation. So that drip project should have cost Ghana just $76 million. And yet, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government, something Bawumia spearheaded, he committed Ghana to a $178 million.
What?
Yes. Added $102 million to it. Inflated by $102 million. I mean, sheer wickedness. And that was even single source. Bawumia is the one who was tweeting in opposition that the era of sole sourcing, of single source, is coming to an end. And yet the Auditor General has revealed, if you read his special audit on cocoa roads, that 87% of cocoa road projects were single source. And then he did an analysis, the single source road contracts, and then the ones that were done competitively. And he noticed that. He noticed that. It was 3 times inflated when they were single source.
I'll let you hold on with this.
And guess what? Bawumia's brother's company, Resource Assets Limited, is at the center of that.
Okay.
So, look, they are not going to get away with these things. Operation Recover or Loot is going to work. We'll set it in motion, and I'm glad that it's one of President Mohammed's 120-day policy interventions that he has promised. And the Ghanaian people have voted for us because of that. And we are still passionate. We are not going to say because we've won elections, we are going to let things go. No. We'll follow through, pursue these matters, and retrieve these resources and these assets for the Ghanaian people.
Well, we have some breaking news at this point. And we're picking indication that the military has been dispatched to the Ghana gas facility, and that's because some irate youth have decided to besiege the facility and take over completely. We're not sure exactly why they've decided to do this, but my colleague Godwin Asidiba is on the ground, and we want to hear from him exactly what the situation is like at the moment. And like I said, so military has been dispatched, and this is because some young people, we're told, have decided to go over to Ghana Gas to take over.
Discuss with the leaders of the young men who are here. From information that we are gathering on grounds, it is alleged that these thugs are members of the National Democratic Congress who have besieged the premises for reasons that we do not know. Earlier, when I tried to get information from them, they made mention of the fact that we would have to wait for their leaders to come in before anyone will be able to talk to us. You can clearly see them. Tano, if you can move to the side, you can see a man running towards the screen holding a gun. I cannot confirm exactly where he is coming from because a few minutes away, we heard some gunshots in the air, and we don't know where these people are from. They are not wearing police uniforms or any military attire. But just a few minutes ago, we heard that there were some gunshots in the air. We are also seeing people holding shokers and also pressing it whilst it makes some noise in the air. There are quite a number of them. We can clearly see some 2 men assisted by others who have used an electricity pole to block the road, and it's turning quite chaotic as these people continue to come towards us. It's becoming quite chaotic as we would have to take to our heels because they have seen our cameras. They're running towards us. We cannot really say that this environment is safe, but these are live pictures coming to you from the gas house, which is the Ghana Gas Company here in Jowulu. Earlier, the people were really calm about the whole exercise, that we cannot really tell exactly what this exercise is about, but a few minutes after the military were deployed here, about 10 of them, it really sparked the anger of the thugs who have been around, lurking around for quite some time, agitating some gunshots in the air. They've driven every individual who does not belong to their camp away. And at the moment, they've used an electric pole to block the road that leads towards the entrance of Ghana Gas. This is creating some sort of tension around the premises. And also, the people, I can clearly see from the entry point also having some sort of conversations. Quite a number of people have taken to their heels to run away. And you can also see that cars that are bypassing are also in a haste to move away from the premises. We cannot confirm exactly how this is going to pan out or how it would end at the area, but I can confirm to you that it is not something that looks really healthy or something that will come to an understanding amicably. We can also see some police officials who have been deployed here right away in their safety gear and helmets right in front of Compu Ghana. Most of them actually took to their heels whilst we're also running for safety. But we can clearly see them on their motorbikes, others also standing as well. They haven't been able to move to the side for us to know if there will be any sort of conversation that would happen, to know if the people will become enough. Just like I indicated, we don't know the reason why they have besieged the premises, but they have been here for close to 3 hours. When we got here about an hour ago and we tried going in there to have a conversation with the thugs to get to find out the reason why they are here, they refused to engage us and also made mention that they do not want any camera around the premises. But we're also told that they are waiting for their boss to come before they will be able to engage the media. That's a vehicle with a police inscription written on the back of it, with quite a number of men, about 7, seated at the boot side.
All right, so that's Godwin Asidiba. He is at the Ghana Gas Company in Jolu, right here in Accra. And per his reports, there's some young people who have decided to besiege the premises, and they say they're taking over. He's trying to investigate to find out, but unfortunately, the security personnel that have been dispatched to the venue have refused to engage the media until their boss gives them the clearance. And so we'll be waiting for Godwin to get some more information on this so we can apprise you. But at the moment, we're told some irate youth have besieged the Ghana Gas Company. And so if you're around there, please be safe, especially because he did mention that there were some gunshots, and I'm sure it's probably from the security trying to disperse the crowd or at least warn them from whatever activity it is they may be engaged in. But we'll let you know as we move along. But let's carry on with our conversation in the studio. I still have Honorable Sam Okudzeto-Ablakwa. I have Professor Titus Bayu and Mr. Richard Kumado here with us. And we're just talking about some of the scandals. He's assuring us that, you know, this NDC government is going to investigate and prosecute, where found guilty, some of the individuals who are involved in the many scandals that have come up, some of which he personally brought to the fore. And so we hope that that really happens. But let me go to Professor as well. Oh, you had some...
Yes.
Okay, just 2 minutes, yes, please, so that I can let Prof...
wrap up on that. But, okay. But before I do that, let me strongly condemn the scenes that your correspondent on the ground in Jolu just put across. We don't have the details. We don't know who are those behind it. But violence is violence. It ought to be condemned, no matter what the reason is. The youth who are engaged in that, their concerns can be addressed through peaceful means. You don't have to be wielding guns and machetes and electric poles. You don't do that. And let me use this opportunity to also talk to our rank and file. There have been reports of our young people taking over state institutions, municipal district assemblies, and assets that belong to the state and all of that as a sign of victory and we taking over. this has been going on election after election. It has become like the symbol of victory to show that you have won an election. So you go take over public toilets and toll booths. You remember in the past, you know, and then they go into assemblies and look, these things are so archaic, so outmoded. It is not in character with our leader. President Mahama is a very peaceful person. That's why last night in his speech, he said that, look, you can celebrate briefly, but your celebration should not cross the line. Don't venture into criminal activity because we can't defend you. When you are arrested, and I hope the youth are watching and listening, if you are arrested, don't expect that any of us will come, and because what you have done, you don't have our permission, our authorization to engage in that conduct. So I want to use this medium to re-echo the advice that has come from our flag bearer-elect, from our national leadership. Yesterday, the General Secretary and the IGP held a joint press conference and asked our supporters to be law-abiding in their celebration, not to take over state institutions. So that is important to emphasize.
That was more than the 2 minutes.
So I can't go back
so
to
you
the
hold on.
Okay.
Let Prof come in,
Sure.
and then we can
do that
again.
later.
Prof.
That's fair.
Yeah, so
That's
I think
fair.
I would just also add on that this is unacceptable. My constituency, when I was leaving, is peaceful. I left there yesterday. It's a very simple exercise we've done. And this morning, people were even joking that, look, it's like a weekend and we've changed government and everything is calm. Well, from all of this. So I'm going to call on the national security, all our intelligence organizations, not to take this as just party youth doing things. Let's dig deeper before anything unfolds on us. We've had a very peaceful election. His Excellency the Vice President has conceded. President Mahama has been declared, and we are moving on. So let's watch out for elements that want to destabilize us or bring all sort of anarchy to the system, because this is not good for our economy. It's not good for anything that we want to do. But on the issue of the scandals that we were talking about, I just want to say that there is a local statement that when the toe dies, that you see its full length. And I should tell Honorable that maybe what he has seen so far may just be a tip of the iceberg.
I believe that.
That many more are going to come up. And it's as though there is a scandal that touches every Ghanaian, no matter who you are. Several are being reported, but there may be one that hits you directly. For me, it was the ambulance one. I mean, when I heard about it, I was like seriously, that you have a company created that claims to be maintaining ambulances and is using staff of the ambulance service and bills the ambulance service. And then I asked myself, what is happening? Because in my constituency, our ambulance was grounded for more than 3 months just because of worn out ties. So where was this contract? At some point, when our only doctor working in the district hospital needed to go on leave, which meant that if someone needed surgery, the ambulance needed to take that person to another constituency for surgery. I had to buy tires myself to go and fix on that ambulance. So imagine how I felt when I heard that someone else was there being paid to maintain this ambulance.
$34.9 million.
So every Ghanaian in one sector or the other, no matter the sphere of life you occupy, one scandal will hit you. But I think that there's a saying that when your neighbor's beard is burning, you fetch water and put by yours. I said that is not protective enough. When your neighbor's beard is burning, shave off yours and still get water and stand by, because you don't really want to increase the risk. So what has happened in this government, that the Ghanaians have passed a clear verdict that it is unacceptable, should be enough learning points to any politician, that you don't come and repeat same. So when you were asking whether he will continue the same interception, I expect him to, but I expect that the new leaders in government coming in will be wiser, will realize that this was not acceptable to the people who really hold the power, who are the voters, and that if you do that, they will punish you for it. And so I don't expect us to have that level of scandals. And so I think it should be a warning to anybody within our party, because His Excellency has said it, that he's not going to shield any of his appointees who would engage in such things. I don't know what level of caution you need to act wisely. So if anybody is thinking that this is an opportunity to come, loot, or create wealth illegally, I think you've heard it from the president-elect severally. And we cannot be doing an operation recover all loot and looting at the same time.
Yeah.
No. So I think it's enough caution to all of us that, look, sit up, be diligent about what you do, and let's restore some hope. Because the direction in which this country was going, if we had continued for some time, I bet you there will be a day that, look, people will rise up.
Yeah.
Right? So now, thankfully, it was close to an election. We've used the election to change the trajectory. Nobody should come and perpetuate the same thing. And it should end it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, let's just take a look at the 120-day plan for the president-elect. And when you go to the part that talks about transparency and accountability, it says institute inquiries and of forensic audits into matters of public interest, including collapse of indigenous Ghanaian banks and financial institutions, National Cathedral scandal, COVID-19 expenditure, PDS, a Japan SML deals, Galamsey fraud and missing excavators, and other high-profile scandals. So that's an aspect of the number of scandals that we had encountered over the last couple of years. And President-elect John Dramani Mahama says that they're going to look into these matters and investigate. Mr. Kumado, if you were the president, for example, and you had to investigate one of them almost immediately, which one would it be?
The first thing remains that non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. We've lost money. Financial leakages happen through judgment debt as a result of non-investigating politicians who get themselves involved in many of these ones. The contracts that are going to be signed from today to the time the new government takes over is going to be more than the kind of scandals Honorable Samuel Kujetu has revealed over the years. To investigate, I'm a background check specialist, so I would have said that let's do a comprehensive background checks on almost all the contracts, the people behind it.
Okay.
What were the amounts? Because in politics and political party funding, over-invoicing has always become the major issue for developing countries. He walked out of the vetting committee, and people did not understand. And then I was on this show, and I said, if you look at the vetting systems and the procedure in this country, it's just a waste of everybody's time. Right down from Supreme Court justices to politicians who have been assigned into politics and many of those. The BNI doesn't do background checks on anybody. So they on the vetting table do not even have the results before people are brought to them. Then you are also limited to the number of questions you ask. And when you walk away, it became a big issue. But what's the point I'm saying? I'm saying that if we want to investigate, let's start from where he ended, that John Mahama wouldn't want, President Mahama wouldn't want people within his government to do A, B, C, D. Let's start with them, with the background checks. Then you
with
know
his own people?
Yes. Then you know the slate at which they are coming. And once you do that, it makes life easier progressively.
Okay, but that also ties into asset declaration.
No, it doesn't work that way. We have worked with the BNI. We are specialists when it comes to background checks of individuals. And for him who has taken upon himself to investigate, he knew or he know that once you've taken this part, we will also come after you to investigate you. So to be in the surface and to be in the public space and have traveled for all this while, knowing that his back is being watched in both ways, then those are the people we needed in the public space, because politics is what? Public service. And those who come to say we want to serve, we want to know who they are and why they are coming in.
So, for example, he says that he's going to nominate within the first 14 days a complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval, and then also constitutes the leanest, most efficient government under the Fourth Republic within the first 90 days in office. So we're expecting the 60 ministers to be nominated, of course, within the first 60 days.
One of the things the president should have done is the Boko conflict within 120 minutes. We needed to have, besides whatever is here, if he asked me personally, one of the difficulties we need to face and resolve is the Boko conflict. We need to do something about it so that the killing stops, there's economic activities comes back, the public safety guarantees are secured, whilst we are nominating the ministers. Once the Boko issue is resolved somehow, people then have confidence in us internationally and thinks that we have the command from the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces to do many of these things. And one of the things they should also do is to give a free hand. I don't know who became the director of BNI. One of the difficulties we have in this government is when they took the investigation and arrest powers from the BNI. When I was going to the BNI, we were over 4,000 who applied. After 3 years of background checks, they pick only 4 of us.
It took 3 years to do a background check.
Exactly. They pick only 4 of us. But look at the way you have bastardized the security agencies because politicians find it difficult to create jobs. They put all manner of persons there. So when they work for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, when you think the state to benefit from them, they have become armchair investigators who cannot do anything for the state. And that is the price we are paying why there are a lot of corruption and we do not have admissible evidence as court and the cases have been thrown.
Well, in this case, we don't have 3 years. The president doesn't have 3 years. He has to nominate and appoint within the first 14 to 90 days at least for his ministers. So will that be enough time to do a thorough background investigation of
so. When
the people that may become ministers?
When they put it to the BNI, especially the key ones like Samuel Kujeto Abrauka and Haruna Idrisu, and
are you giving an idea of some of the potential ministers?
The constitution says you must appoint people from parliament. So
okay, so is this your list or this is like inside information you are giving us? Okay. So for example,
Samuel Kujeto.
Okay, what position is he supposed to?
I think he lies foreign affairs. And
I see.
I don't know whether he's
we haven't had any discussion.
Well, even if you have, you won't discuss it here.
On the spot.
You won't tell us. Well, let us ask you if the president nominates you for foreign affairs.
You see, these are matters that the prerogatives of the president. This is prerogative.
Anyway,
as a coach, he decides
who
where
have
you
come
play.
through this way. We need to hold them high.
Okay.
And their background checks has to be done by professionals.
Okay.
So that we know the slate is clean for them.
Okay.
As they move into the next.
And Haruna Idrisu as well. Which?
Then Atu Forcing. Then I'll end it there.
Atu Forcing for finance. Haruna Idrisu for what?
I didn't say that.
I'm just asking. But he's the okay. So for
but
what?
for finance, you have Isaac Adongo and Eric Opoku.
So Atu Forcing for what?
President will sort it out.
And Haruna Idrisu?
I don't know about that. I only know they are serving a government, but I really don't know.
Listen, Mr. Kumado has just been sly at this point. But let's go back to Beatrice. She's taking us to the Volta region. Hi, Beatrice.
There's an alarming issue coming from there. We understand that some persons have besieged the residence of the Home Municipal Chief Executive, attempting to have access to the property where they allege that some bags of fertilizers are being hoarded. Volta Regional Correspondent Faisal Abdul Idris, who joins us live now with some detail. Just describe to us the atmosphere currently and what specific concerns these individuals who have besieged the residence are raising.
Well, so here are some men very known to be NDC members, about 10 of them I see around. The information we gathered is that they picked some information earlier yesterday that there are about 500 bags of fertilizers kept in here. Behind me, just here is the residence of the OMC. And their basic reason to be here is to ensure that the fertilizers are not cut out of the home or taken away from the home. They want to be sure that the fertilizers remain here, then they draw the attention of the police to come and take them out so that the MC does not get the opportunity to take them away. They are already here, so let me quickly bring them on and ask them, please join me here, let me understand why you are here as a group. Please come back. So these are the men. Here, Theophilus Ajanku is the Deputy Secretary for Whole Central NDC. Tell me, why are you here?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished viewers and listeners. Our basic purpose of being here is to protect and recover all the state properties that the current government, the outgoing government party affiliates are trying to loot away. As you said earlier on, this is supposed to be the residence of Municipal Chief Executive, but he has not been staying here. They have turned this place to a warehouse where government, things meant for government, things meant for Ministry of Agri, things meant for less debt and those things that are supposed to be given to our farmers and our sisters who are learning jobs. So if you go in there, I can assure you that you can see not less than 500 bags of fertilizers, cutlass, warranty boots, weedicide, and all kind of planting for food items kept here all over these years. Whilst farmers out there were looking for these items in order to produce food for the masses.
And so why are you here? All of these items you are mentioning are in there.
So we are here to protect this item because we pick an intel that upon the declaration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama yesterday, the party affiliates and the MCs are sending people to come and take the things away, which we don't want.
Now, your party has issued, let me say, an order to you that you do not engage in any act of lawlessness. Your being here, are you sure you are not going to create any sin, a very chaotic one? Are you sure you are not going to do that?
No, but you can see the police here. We even informed the police about this, that we are not here to cause any mayhem.
Okay.
Our purpose here is to take vigilance alert and to protect the items over there so that these people don't take these things away. They have done it before.
Now, how long will you be here? You have informed the police. Are you expecting the police to come and cut the things away, the items away? How long will you be here?
Our wish is that the police can guide us to convey the items to a safer place,
okay,
where these party affiliates, the MC boys, will not come and carry them away. That would have been our wish. But since they say there is a message enter, we are here 24 hours. You know our policy, 24-hour economy has started. We are here, vigilance the key.
Can I talk to him
Vigilance
directly?
is what we use to win this election.
You ask the question, I'll get him to hear that. Please do.
That.
You can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, you go ahead.
So we are here purposely to protect the items because the farming season will soon come.
Right.
And our farmers will be needing these items. The debt these people have accumulated down, we don't know where we are going to get money now to supply these inputs when they are already in existence here. So our purpose is to protect these items down for the farming season to come so that the right people can use it and produce food stuff for you and I.
Okay, I think Beatrice wants to ask you something.
Yes, Faisal, I just wanted you to find out from them why they are massing up there. Shouldn't that be, of course, they are saying they want to be vigilant, but shouldn't that be the job of the police? And also, he made an allegation that the man there, together with NPP affiliates, are hoarding. Which affiliates is he talking about? If he can clarify those for us.
Yeah, I said the MC boys. The MC has his boys and party executives who are coming here to pick these items. We met them here yesterday. They wanted to enter and pick items, which we picked an intel and we came to meet them over here. And we sacked them. If not that, they would have packed the items away. Even today, we have intercepted some street lights being taken out of the jurisdiction. We don't know where they...
Did you get the people?
Yes, we got the people and we informed the police and we marched them to the police station. They are there right now.
You mean they are in custody?
Yeah, they are in custody of police right now.
Okay.
So this is one that we don't want these items to move from here because we know them. They have done it before several times.
Again, I want you to give us this assurance because your party is telling you that you do not engage in any act of lawlessness, violence. Are you giving us that assurance that we are not going to see that?
My brother, when you came here, did you see us holding any violent items, or our attitude, does it show that? No, we are here for peace, but we are here to protect the state items. We are here to protect our party, we are here to protect the next government, we are here to protect the taxpayers and everything that belongs to Ghanaian people, that few people will not take them away and go and misuse and be teasing us whilst they are the cause. We want the next government to succeed. And to the expectation from the people, from the citizens are high on the next government. And we don't want them to fail. So we want to protect the next government to succeed. And these items are part of the items that the next government will use to succeed.
Right.
Because these all form part of the debt, the accumulated debt that every Ghanaian is having now. You over here, you are owing 30,000, you know, almost 30,000 as a citizen.
Thank you. So I think your point is well made.
Yeah.
Okay, give me way. As you can see, give me way. From behind, another team of police officers have just arrived here. When we got here earlier, there were 2 police officers at the residence who will not allow them to have access to the place. A patrol vehicle has just arrived with a few more officers. Like they are saying, they say they are not here to cause any form of violence or create any scene here. And so we wait here to monitor how events pan out, and we'll give you the update.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Faisal Abdul Idrisu. He's our Volta region correspondent, and thankfully the police officials are there. Hopefully they are able to keep the peace of that area. Keep an eye on this. We'll get back to you for the latest. But that's what you just watched there. Some residents in that part of the country, in the Volta region, saying that they want to protect what belongs to the state and every Ghanaian. I'm coming back to you, Bella.
Well, I guess, you know, by no fault of ours, we've just been reminded of how much we owe, you know, as Ghanaian citizens, 30,000 and more. So, Beatrice, get ready.
Yes.
When it's time for collection, I will come and collect your 30,000 from you. But yes, I mean, that was just on a lighter note. But on a more serious note, the update on this is the fact that young people are still, well, young people and old people, members of the NDC and Ghanaians in total, are staying vigilant. And you heard the man say they've already started the 24-hour policy under the NDC government. And so they're ensuring that fertilizers that are being kept at the MC's house are not conspicuously missing after a while. They're keeping an eye on it. My concern is that even where we keep fertilizers in the first place? Exactly. Because the moment he said that, I was concerned. Should we not have...
Because there's an agri department.
Exactly.
There's an agri department.
They have warehouses.
There are warehouses, you know, and these were the items they were using for vote buying.
They were using them for campaign.
They came to our constituencies with them.
They were distributing
fertilizers, walleting boats.
Really?
And you see, in Parliament, we had raised concern about that so-called emergency plan that there's a drought in the north. And we said that, look, let's have the plan. How much are you going to spend? How is the procurement being done? How are these fertilizers being deployed? You know, who is receiving them? What are the names? Who is signing for them? It shouldn't become a vote-buying gimmick. They didn't listen to us. They snubbed us. But let me salute these young, patriotic citizens. That is what Article 41F of the Constitution enjoins us to do. And let me read Article 41F.
Okay.
Article 41 provides, the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, I go to F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. So what they are doing falls squarely within Article 41F, where the Constitution enjoins all of us to be patriotic citizens, vigilant citizens, nationalistic, who will always make sure that the public purse is protected, public property is protected, that we combat misuse. So once they are doing it peacefully, I don't see them holding any cudgels, any weapons. They are not there with guns, and they are being very orderly. They are just keeping an eye, and they say that due to their vigilance, they've already been able to stop
street lights.
You know, stop the movement of street lights. Only God knows what they were going to do with them. Were they going to sell them? You know, where were they going to hide them? And so that level of vigilance is key. Now, this brings me to a latest interception I have made. And that interception is about ongoing recruitment, last-minute recruitments.
Okay.
Great call. If the CEO is watching me, I know what you are doing right now. Now.
What is he doing?
I have all the documents. These last-minute recruitments, they are determined to saddle the next administration with a huge fiscal burden. These young people have been asking for jobs for years. You refuse to listen. Unemployment shot up to 14.7%. You've lost an election, and you are hurriedly calling party apparatchiks, and you are doing emergency recruitments. Great call. BOG, PMMC, FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority. They better stop it. They should stop.
When did they start this recruitment?
This last-minute, midnight recruitments. Over the last few hours, You know, when it became clear that they have lost the election, this is what they are doing before they are booted out of those offices. They ought to stop it. And I'll urge you in the media, call these CEOs. They cannot deny it. And follow through. It is wrong. You see, why do you want to saddle the next administration? You are already leaving us with a huge public debt. You had a young man, if they divided 30 cities and all of that. You came to meet the public debt at 122 billion. You've taken it to 750 billion. You have nothing to show for it, apart from corruption and state capture. We are thinking how to go around that with the debt exchange program, how to negotiate with all these people. And because what they did was just to kick the can down the road. Yeah. So 2025, 2026, President Mahama has to look for money to clean up Akufo-Addo Bawumia mess. And then you are adding more wahala. Why? Why? Those recruitments should stop. Gridco, Bank of Ghana, FDA. We know what you are doing. Those clandestine, midnight, last-minute recruitments should stop. And those who think that they can go and receive these appointment letters and have some guarantees, they should know that they are joking.
What's going to happen to them?
There is no guarantee, because in this country, we have laws for engaging people in the public service. Was there an advertisement?
Okay.
Was there an interview? Did they follow due process? So if you are part of, we are not saying Ghanaian people shouldn't get jobs, but be part of a credible process. Yeah. Follow due process, follow the law. So if this is just about packing the place with party food soldiers to compensate them because of your mismanagement, neglecting them for all these years, not listening to them. Look at how they treated even the NAPCO people. People who have worked, you just sack them like that abruptly, refuse to pay them. Now, when the die is cast, you have been punished. You are engaging in all of this very cruel, conduct, which is going to just saddle this country with more fiscal burden. So, all those receiving those appointment letters know that it will not be respected because you have not gone through a credible process. You are not following due process. It is not transparent. It is not above board. And so you are just wasting your time. Okay. So they should stop those things.
All right. And Media General investigates this matter once, Honorable has brought it up as well. But, Doc, let me come to you because I just want to find out what you make of concerns that, for example, the National Cathedral, hole that we have at the moment. We know there's a promise from President-elect John Dramani Mahama that he wants to put up a children's hospital and also a fertility center. There are many people who think that that should be the location for the hospital. Being a medical doctor, what do you suggest?
Well, so I am one of the lead campaigners for that ultra-modern children's hospital, world-class children's hospital, that we don't have any of its kind in this sub-region. I have studied what we have put there, and if you look at the concept of what we are envisaging, the closest you'll find any part in Africa here, you'll find in South Africa.
Okay.
And the benefit of such a facility to us as a nation is enormous. Medical tourism will be promoted, training will be promoted. We are going to actually earn foreign currency because when you have such a facility, our neighbors will come here for training in specialization in various children's health issues. And the quality of care will go higher. Okay. For also serving as fertility, that is really my field. I'm a gynecologist, a fertility person, and I know that we don't have any proper fertility services in the public space.
Yeah.
All have to go into private, and it is difficult. And it affects research and the cost and all of that. So it is useful. Now, His Excellency has said, I think this has come up before, but he has said that when he comes, he's going to evaluate the state of the world's most expensive pits, right? So I wouldn't want to go ahead of him. But I think if after his evaluation, he decides that, okay, we are not going ahead with this project, this is what I want us to lead it to,
all right.
I'm good with it. Hold
on with that for me, please. Let's go back to the Greater Accra Regional Office of the EC. We're told there's some new development. All right. And so I do hope that per what we're seeing, there's going to be the announcement anytime soon of the results for Ablekuma North. And we've all been waiting for that result to be announced. Collation was supposed to have started at 10 a.m. today. And for some reason, we're told that a call was made and collation halted. And so that also brought about some further confusion. Party supporters of the NDC also, visited the EC office, managed to get into the office, and were trying to get into the collation room. But, of course, leadership of the NDC who are present at the collation center told them to just hold on and allow them to do their job. And so you realize that they stepped out. And we believe that in the last hour or so, collation has been ongoing per what Portia was reporting as well. And so we're seeing pictures now. We're hoping that that would mean that collation hopefully would have ended and the EC would officially announce the results as to whether Irabna Obin or Nane Kwefuye is the one who's going to represent Parliament, Ablekuma North in Parliament. And so when Portia is ready with the details, I'm sure she'll let us know so that we can also inform you about it. But we know, okay, Portia is on phone now. Let's speak to her. Hello, Portia. Hello, Portia.
Hello, Bella.
Hi. So what's the latest at the EC office now?
So at exactly 3:42, the collation process resumed with the cutting of seals, after which the pink sheets were brought out. Now the returning officer told both parties that they are going to continue for where it left off yesterday.
Okay.
Now since the EC does not have the statement of polls because they were destroyed in the process of collation, he agreed that the two parties will need to help the EC. So if he mentions the station in which the EC does not have the results, he will refer to both parties to give their own results, and then they will confer with each other to do the authentication. And then NPP executives decided that they will also need to call the presiding officers of the polling stations to also authenticate. And this verification now, the NDC did not agree to this, and that's what's causing the latest impasse at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the EC.
So you're saying what, the MPP did not agree to having the presiding...
The NDC rather.
Or the NDC
did not agree that they should call a presiding officer to also authenticate the result.
Why are they not agreeing to it?
As we speak now, I haven't gotten to them to find out why, because it's a really chaotic situation here. So I will find out, but they are not agreeing that they should call the presiding officer. But one of the reasons that I heard them speaking about that, how will the presiding officer remember the actual result on the day if he doesn't have the pin sheet? So that's the situation right now. But the returning officer is trying to talk to both of them to calm nerves down. So that's the current situation here at the Greater Accra Regional EC office.
I see. But as it stands now, has the MPP been able to produce its pink sheet now physically?
Yes, MPP say they have their pink sheets. NDC also say they also have their pink sheets.
Yeah, but
so it is only the EC that don't have their pink sheets because they do not have the statement of poll which was destroyed.
I'm asking about the MPP because earlier they had indicated that they had a soft copy of their pink sheet. Do they have the physical now, or they are still going with a soft copy?
Yeah, they also say they have some hard copies as well.
Oh, they have hard copies now. Okay. So earlier, the collation was supposed to have started at 10 a.m. It didn't start. Why did it stop?
So the two parties could not agree early on. We also saw the disruption to the process when supporters of the NDC also came from outside. So they're trying to invade the premises of the Electoral Commission. And then the returning officers as well as EC officials, they could not be assured of their safety. So the process had to stall. And then as we speak now, there's increased police presence here in the collation room. And the returning officer is trying to calm nerves down. He's trying to talk to the two parties for them to come to a compromise. So we are still waiting to see what compromise they will come to.
So as it stands, even collation for those 61 or 62 polling stations, that hasn't been done?
Exactly. We started at 3:42, and then when the issue of calling the presiding officers came to place, the both parties could not agree. So it's been halted again, and they are trying to see whether they can confer with each other to see whether they can come to a compromise.
Do you think that this will be done by the end of today, from the way things are going?
if the returning officer is able to talk to them and for them to come to a compromise, then the process will be slow. So as now calm has been restored, it was chaotic a little while ago, but they are still talking to them. It's calmed down. So I'm seeing the returning officer and some executives of the MPP and NDP listening to one party official, and then we'll get to it. In a few minutes, I'll give you updates as to what compromise we have come to.
Okay, thank you very much, Portia. And Portia is at the Greater Accra Regional EC office, and that's where the collation is supposed to take place for Ablekuma North constituency, so we can finally find out who has won the seats for Ablekuma North. But let's go to Godwin Asideba at the Ghana Gas office at Jowlu. And earlier, he indicated that some individuals had besieged the premises and they wanted to take over. And so military and other security agencies were invited. We're told he was almost assaulted along with his cameraman. Godwin.
There was some deployment of military and also police officials. They've been able to bring everything under control, and the thugs have at the moment left the premises. We will be engaging some concerned citizens who have been here and have monitored everything that has happened within here. The unfortunate chaos that erupted witnessed gunshots. We have been told allegedly that it was from some of the military personnel who actually came here to ensure that the thugs will be moved away from this side. The entire space of this side, which is the entrance towards the Ghana House, the gas house, I beg your pardon, was engulfed with thugs, people that looked quite notorious and unfriendly at all. Few minutes ago, about 10 minutes, I was actually chased together with my cameraman and other journalists as well. There was a Metro journalist who was chased and also slapped in the face, and unfortunately for him, he had to pee on his body. And it was just quite unfortunate. They weren't friendly to us at all. The police officials, just you can see them right behind me, together with the military personnel as well, who have been deployed here in about an hour ago to ensure that everything will be under control. We have been signaled. They've sent us a word of caution, or a warning, if I should say, that we shouldn't take our camera or even point it towards them. So at the moment, we can see an instruction that is being given, and also they've been ordered to stand at vantage places to ensure that that wouldn't get to happen again. It was just quite chaotic, and at the moment, it has been brought under control. We cannot confirm if the police officials or the military personnel will be leaving the premises now, but we will be engaging some concerned citizens here who have witnessed everything that has happened for them to share their thoughts on that. Were you here when the incident happened?
No. I wasn't here, but I was called because I live just around the corner by some very frightened people that some young people had come to the place. And so when I got here, the police were here. They had managed to restore calm. But my abiding caution to those people who are running around doing that is that you are not helping President-elect Mahama with this kind of conduct. President Mahama is even yet to take office. So let's not create more problems for him than he has to solve. I am appealing to them, right, not to imitate the likes of Abronye. That's not us. In 2016, when Abronye was running around seizing people's cars, the then elected government, even after they came to power, they encouraged it. But that's not us. That is not us.
Does this put fear in people who live around the area, just like you?
Of course. Look around you. Didn't you hear what the soldiers said when they came? There's something like stray bullets. You understand? And the soldiers and the police, look around you. They are very well armed. If they decide to take on people who are firing at them, anything can happen. Why do you come to a government premises with arms? Why do you do that?
Really unfortunate to know, but we are hoping that the police officials, together with the military, will be here.
The police have been excellent. They've been very patient. Right. They didn't even respond to those people who had the weapons. They've dissipated them quietly. But I urge them to take action against the people who are leading these things. It's not correct. Look, if you didn't do it when Akufo-Addo was quote-unquote president, don't do it now. You understand? Don't do it now. Everybody knows the situation that the youth of this country are facing. Somebody is preparing to address it. You have elected him to address it. Give him the time to address it. Let him take office. Because President Mahama has even outlined what he wants to do in 120 days. If you can't read it, let somebody read it to you. But please, for heaven's sake, do not go and invade a government installation. Some of these installations are very sensitive installations. You go there, you go and destroy equipment, cost millions of dollars. There are people who are trained to do this job over time. We understand your anger. We understand your anger. Even those of us who have multiple functionality when it comes to education, we've all been unemployed, just like you. Take your time. You've taken your time for 8 years. Don't mess it up now.
It's been insightful engaging you, sir. Just like I have indicated, these were some of the stuff that were used to block the entry point to the gas house. There's still currently the heavy deployment of the police and the military as well. And just like I indicated, in about 20 minutes ago, I had to run helter-skelter for my life. I was hooked in the neck, and also portions of my shirt was squeezed. Some other colleague journalists, including one from Metro TV, like I mentioned earlier, was slapped in the face, and he peed on his body immediately. Fortunate for me, I had to defend myself in a way. I should call myself a strong man to be able to escape the rather unfortunate brutality that would have come my way. But yes, the traffic situation on the stretch is moving currently, and we have seen that calm has been finally restored. But we'll keep an eye here in Jowulu at the gas house to know if these people will plan or re-strategize to come again. My name is Godwin Asidiba, reporting for your Election Command Center on TV3.
All right. Thank you, Godwin. And what we've not been able to establish is who these people are, and if they belong to any political party or, you know, any faction at all, so that we can at least put an understanding or get a better understanding of why they would even want to take over Ghana Gas at this point. But the military is there. We also heard from Mr. Kujochu Mbuafo, and he is indicating that as a resident, he's very worried, very concerned about the situation. And so we hope that it can be brought under control. It's very difficult to also accept that journalists are being assaulted for doing their job as well. And so we apologize to you journalists as well. This is not an easy thing to go through. And so I know it's not the best, but Prof, I mean, okay, well, I'll just let you land briefly and then I'll go to him because I want to pick your thoughts on the latest as well.
Well, it's very disheartening. I don't think this is the type of information we want to receive as a party coming into power. It's condemnable. I mean, Ghana Gas is a technical area. Even if you want a job, how many people can just get in there and get a job? As what? You know? So, but as I mentioned earlier, I think our intelligence organizations should take seriously. We should put ourselves on a high alert and pick up exactly who are behind these things. It may not necessarily be NDC foot soldiers. People in the opposition can do it. Ordinary Ghanaians can do it. Crime is a crime. Under no circumstances should you just go and invade a sensitive installation like Ghana Gas. To do what there? So I'm happy that this is happening, but what I didn't hear was whether there's any arrest. Because you see, arrest will then help us. You talk to them and know who is behind this. Honestly, until I have concrete evidence that there are party people, I'll struggle to believe why anyone would do that. When you have won power and everything is coming over to you, why would you do something like this? So I would just urge our party leadership, especially in the Greater Accra region, to touch base with the youth, our youth organizers, constituency chairmen, should touch base with the people and be sure, are these really party members. If they are, they must exercise restraint and exhibit the greatest level of decorum and reflect the nature of His Excellency, and not mar such a beautiful victory that we have achieved.
Mr. Kumado, I'll come to you shortly, but I'm going to my other correspondent, Faisal, as well. Hello, Faisal. Okay, well, let me go to Mr. Kumado now.
Bad governance and a democracy that do not produce anything good for the citizens, these are some of the things we face. And I think it's a lesson for all of us that as we plan to build this country, we need to do it in a manner that every citizen will have a hope that when they elect governments into power, they will not serve themselves, but they will serve the people. From psychological point of view and from crime-related point of view, we will need to find out why some of these boys are engaging in some of these things. Then the second question is why there are no police officers within the street of Accra. My own Dan Parry, I don't know whether he's going on holidays again, but considering the fact that there has been contestations between NDC and MPP in the city of Accra, I think we need to have more police officers in the street. As we prepare, he can even cover it up with a cover story and say, we are preparing towards the inauguration of John Mahama or towards Christmas. And let's have a little bit more of the wild boys, like the striking force and the Buffalo guys. Once they walk through the street for a number of days, people see their structure and how well armed they are, and they will go back to sleep. But this is politics, this is democracy, and this is governance that has failed us as people.
Yeah, well, earlier we also reported that some persons that we now know are NDC executives in Ho have gone to the residence of the Ho Municipal Chief Executive, attempting to also have access to the property where they alleged that some bags of fertilizers are being hoarded. And so we're told that we actually have footage of the fertilizers that they were talking about at the residence of this municipal director. And so Abdul Idrisu joins us. Hello, Faisal.
Hi, Bella.
All right. So what's the latest now?
Well, so more security officers have been asked to come and join, including the military. Another vehicle of police officers also joined quite shortly. Not long ago, Superintendent Jeremiah Alale, who arrived earlier with about 4 officers, engaged the group, giving them the assurance that police is in charge of these very issue and that he will ensure that the items are not taken away, urging them to withdraw. He was also telling them that the residence of the MCA is equally occupied currently by his wife and children, who they say should be given some form of protection and privacy, and so they will not be allowed to have access into the inner perimeter of the property. As a stand, the group is withdrawing gradually, but with time, people are getting to know what's happening, and so more numbers of residents who are trooping in here to observe what's happening. So behind me, as you can see, there's a military van and another of a police band who are on standby, ensuring that the property is protected, just in case the group charges to want to have access into the inner perimeter of the residence of the LCE.
Okay, but have you personally been able to confirm if these bags of fertilizers are in the house?
We are not able to do that at the moment because the place is an enclosed area, and so we are not able to do that. The footages we have are footages that people who had earlier gone in there shared with us. So these are not footages that TV3 actually took. They are footages we had from people who actually entered there and gave it us.
Okay.
Cannot confirm the number of bags in, and so TV3 cannot confirm that yet.
But the security personnel that are there, have any of them been able to go inside the house as well?
Yes, they've been entering one after the other, but they wouldn't speak to us, as you know.
They're not giving you any updates?
No. I attempted speaking to Superintendent Jeremiah Alale, who told me that all he can say is that they are in charge of this and would ensure that nobody takes the law into his or her own hand. On the other hand, ensuring that the occupants of these very properties are protected against any form of lawlessness.
Okay.
On the other hand, they want the group to have the assurance that they will not allow, if indeed there are these items they are talking about in there, they will not allow that they are taken away. They will be protected and be kept safe for the state. And you can trust that here at the Election Command Center, TV3, would be up to date with every happening here as far as this issue is concerned.
All right. Thank you, Faisal. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is a correspondent in Ho at the moment, and he came up with that story, of course, about some NDC party executives who have gone to the house of the Ho Municipal Chief Executive, and they are also alleging that there are some bags of fertilizers that have been hoarded in his house, which is why they have alerted the security to come and investigate, and if really it is true, withdraw or retrieve those materials from his house. But I'm coming back to you, Rev, because this whole idea of besieging, and yes, we just talked about it as well, but how can we bring this under control? Is it really the party, leaders who need to speak to their people? What exactly do we do at this point?
I think it's crime, and crime control is police. People have to be arrested and prosecuted. Once you don't prosecute people, you don't arrest them, and you always allow NDC, MPP, party colors to crowd the judgment about who has committed a crime and who has not, then people take the law into their own hands. And you can understand the NDC leadership is condemning almost whatever they said their party members have done. That should give some encouragement to the police, even though they do not need that to prosecute crime. Crime prosecution has become a problem in this country because they are always looking for equalization to equalize what the NDC or NPP has done when you could see clear sign of somebody committing a crime. And I don't think that side of crime management has been very effective with Dan Parry for some time now. And he needs to wake up to his responsibilities.
Should Dan Parry stay?
I like Dan Parry. I like his leadership. I like his leading style. People will have to assess him. But remember, it's the president who takes that decision. It's the prerogative of the president to decide who plays in his team. If you look at the controversies around him, and having conducted this election as a major one, we will need to assess the sources of this election. But you remember that I said the blueprint was great, but then we can only assess it on election day as to whether he succeed or not. Then again, there are some events that will happen that goes way beyond the remit of the police. Not declaring results, it's not the police thing, it's politics.
Yeah.
And that is election. And some of these things might dent the image of Dan Parry because it falls on what? Public safety and public security guarantees. And that is why some people might have an issue with him. But whether he will go or not, is President Mahama who decides that.
Okay, but should we really look at that part of the Constitution that puts the power, vests the power in the president to be the one to appoint?
I have always been
IGP?
of the view that as black Africans, we have not done well with that. You remember when, me on this platform, when Honorable Samako Jetu was appointed to deputy minister, you remember the issues we had in this country. He was not the only one. There were some other people who was appointed.
Yeah.
How many years down the line, today he has become an asset to the people of his constituency. I was at the BNI by then when he led that demonstration in Legon. I did not know him. That was the first time I'm seeing him. And I was asked to lead a team.
Okay.
Then we got there and they were hustling them. He doesn't know this story today. They were hustling them, and for the first time, demonstrators were taken to Blue Gate. And I was leading the team, and I got so close, and I said, no.
Oh, I didn't know. I've been looking for you for years.
I said, no, this young man, who is he? Let me get closer. So I took a buffer, and I put my men around him, and I asked them to speak. So when he spoke, I clearly understood what he was fighting for. Accommodation in Legon. I have a daughter in Legon who has never had accommodation for her whole whatever years.
They were introducing in, out,
out.
And that was the time when they were leaving Legon. And he hasn't married by then, let alone having children to go to Legon. And the Legon authorities took an issue with them, and yet they never resolved the issue. And you are teaching students who live on trees, and lecturers who have no place, and we are not thinking of the next generation. No wonder they come out of university and they behave the way they are behaving. So these are the issues. And I look at him from far. Fortunately, unfortunately, he has become my in-law because he married my junior sister. And he is hearing this story for the first time.
I'm surprised you never told him.
Exactly. And this is somebody, if we had beaten him up because we had the power to rough him and do all manner of things, today here we are sitting on the same bench.
Yeah.
And we went on different paths, and he has become an asset. So
what some of your colleagues might handle that today.
It wasn't us, it was the police. It was the police.
I see.
Because I was leading the team, and I make sure I put about 4 people around him.
Okay.
And say, no, let's watch.
Take care
and
of
we
him.
asked him to speak. So when he spoke, because we are trained to interpret human emotions and speeches and all that. So when he spoke, they understood. Then I remember Ebisafi and Co had an issue with President Rawlings, University of Ghana, when they closed down the university. Haruna Idris and Co. And the university authorities took a position where their results have been seized and all manner of things they did against them. And I was like, what is this? Come on. I had the opportunity to serve this country.
Okay.
And so let me do it properly. But the point I'm making is that our democracy and our governance structure and our leadership structure, some of the things we do, Bella, that is why we are not getting the results. And particularly when I'm into crime prevention and security intelligence, I can really see and I can predict what is going to happen when it comes to risk assessment and many of the things we are seeing in the public space.
Okay.
For this thing, I'm thinking that Dan Parry will need to wake up a little bit because the politicians have spoken. Let's take the power from them because we have it. And let's address the issues. Once we begin to prosecute people, these things will stop.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking, that should we review how the IGP comes into office?
No, I don't seriously believe that. When I joined the BNI, the man who was the director by then, he became director at the age of 36 years. And he did so well. Yeah, and he was appointed when Peter Nafori and Co left.
Yeah.
And when my uncle Kojoti Kata and Co left Brugge, 30 people were appointed. But look at that team. That is where we learned from. They served with President Rawlings as a team. Okay. And it's a teamwork. So I seriously disagree with people. I might be wrong that when they appoint you, then the appointing authority should have an overriding authority of what you do. That is me, and I'll give it a job.
But this is no mean person than the president.
Yeah, no, I'll give it a job. Seriously, I'll give it a job. You remember when the special prosecutor was appointed and he went to vetting, and they asked him the question about walking in the shoes of the predecessor. He said categorically that when the pressure on him becomes so much, he will hand over the job to those who appointed him. I haven't seen that one being done because he went singing that they were. And I think we need to have a system where people, all over the world, people appoint people.
Okay.
I live in London when Tony Blair was arrested for cash for honor because people supported his party and he gave them position and he did not disclose it. I think we have to be more responsible. We have to be accountable.
Okay.
And we have to be people who believe that in democracy is rule of law. And once they are given a job and you cannot handle it, come on, bow out. And let's stop this whole thing about taking positions that we only go for the booty and we never go for the responsibility.
All right. Let's talk about this review because that's also the other concern that people have. And I know that in the 2024 manifesto of the NDC, there's been it's been stated that, you know, when President Mahama comes into power, he will look at the review of the Constitution again. In reviewing, what are some of the issues that you think, or in terms of the power that the president has, what are some of the things that should be taken away from it?
There are a wide range of areas that the Ghanaian people expect a constitutional review to address. And fortunately, President-elect has been very, very specific about some of those areas which are really of concern to him. For example, this hybrid, the fusion that we are practicing now, President Mahama is not a fan of it. And many presidents, if you talk to all the presidents of the Fourth Republic and a lot of governance analysts, you either go into parliament to be a legislator, to carry out oversight, or you want to be in the executive. Because in the process, it's really weakened our institutions, particularly parliament. So people go to parliament just to catch the eye of the president to serve as minister. And it also narrows the ambit, the orbit available to the president to appoint ministers. So because the constitution says majority should come from parliament, he is compelled to just look within parliament largely. So that is an area that I foresee will be relooked at. Then the president has also listened to the cry of Ghanaians on ex-gratia. And he stated specifically that ex-gratia will have to go. So that whole Article 71 arrangement, where we seem to have two classes of workers in Ghana, the Article 71 and then probably the others, and you see, it's done in such a way that over a period, the workforce in our country have become very, very, cynical, where the whole tripartite negotiations on wages is seen as just crumbs. They leave the crumbs for the rest of the workers. And then as for the Article 71 people who are in the executive, in the legislature, and in the judiciary, and certain constitutional bodies, they reserve the fat, the really juicy package for themselves. That perception doesn't help those of us who are in that Article 71 category. And I'm glad that the NDC is looking at amending that portion of the Constitution and having an independent emoluments commission.
Okay.
So with that one, this scratch my back, I scratch your back thing is taken away. You have an independent body that will look at conditions of service generally.
Okay.
So that it's not just about a few elites within a certain class determining for themselves what they should take. Then when they have taken the lion's share, they leave the crumbs for the rest of the workforce. So that should go. Then I'm also excited about the fact that the appointment of MMDCs, which many Ghanaians have complained. And you see, President Akufo-Addo once again, this is very tyrannical approach to leadership. We all built consensus on this matter. Yeah. All the political parties, civil society. And we said that it's time for it to go.
Yeah.
We were about to have the process amended because that's when you just need 2/3 in parliament. Then President Akufo-Addo said that no, he wants it to be done on a partisan basis. The rest of Ghana, when we went around listening to the people, civil society, the media, everybody said that no, we've had enough of this extreme partisanship everywhere. We want the MMDCs to be elected on a non-partisan basis. Because President Akufo-Addo noticed that he won't have his way, he threw the baby away with the bathwater. Said, okay, if you are not going to allow me to have this referendum or this amendment done in a way that the MMDCs will be elected on a partisan basis, then we won't do the election at all. And that's why we have stalled up to this point. So I am glad that the Ghanaian people have looked at all of this and said that, look, enough is enough. Because some politicians make excuses that, oh, we didn't get the numbers in parliament. Now they've given the NDC more than 2/3. We have no excuse. So for some of these non-entrenched provisions in the Constitution, which requires 2/3 majority, you have no excuse. So the election of MMDCs, I expect it to really come on board.
I'll let you hold on with that. I'll let you continue with this because it's very important for us to understand what exactly you expect from the review of the Constitution. But we're going to Rama Smith, Yvonne Nikwe now. And in fact, we're told that the Electoral Commission office at Isuboi in the Yeswano constituency is under fire. Oh, no. And so, hello, Yvonne.
Hello, Bella.
What can you tell us?
Well, what I can say is that the office at Isuboi, which belongs to the Electoral Commission, is under fire by alleged use of the NDC this afternoon. Now, that particular constituency, we do know that the Electoral Commission has already declared the results in favor of the NPP candidate, Ida, in that area. It used to be a seat that belongs to the NPP, but the NDC took it in 2020. This election, the NPP has retained it per the declaration by the Electoral Commission. And so this afternoon, it's unclear why the youth would have to go back to the Electoral Commission's office to bend it down if results have already declared.
The NDC youth or the NPP youth are the ones who set it on fire? Let's get some clarity.
Allegedly, the NDC youth.
The NPP youth?
Yes, NDC youth.
National Democratic Congress, you mean?
Exactly.
Okay, and they are not happy allegedly because the results were declared in favor of the NPP?
Exactly.
Have you been able to speak to anyone to ascertain if that's really true?
Well, the leaders of both parties are yet to make their way into that particular area, especially when 4 other constituencies have also not been declared. It's being a back and forth and tussle between them on resolving the constituencies that are hanging, and Sawam, Suhum, and then Akwetia. And so for this particular one, that there's a vote difference of 1,000, 12,000, and a number and 11,000. It looks like they are not happy about the outcome, and so this is the action we're seeing from them. Unfortunately, burning down the EC's office.
So you say in Sawam, Adwejiri has not been declared?
And Sawam Adwejiri has not been declared. Suhum has not been declared. Akwetia has not been declared.
And these 3 seats are all, well, is Akwetia MPP or NDC? At the moment, the incumbent?
At the moment, the incumbent is NDC.
NDC, yes. Okay, but then for Nsawam Adwejiri and also for Suhum, the incumbents are MPP?
The incumbents are MPP.
What's causing the delay in announcing the results?
Well, during the collation of the team sheets, unfortunately, a number of them were banned. As to which party they belong to, we are yet to tell, because all of the parties in that particular area believe that they have won the election. Unfortunately, things that belong to the EC, things that belong to both parties, too, they cannot find all of them. They only have a portion of it, which is making it difficult for the EC to collate all of them and then do an official declaration. Today, this morning, we think of them at a new designated area at the Proposal Sector, but it didn't come on. It has to be held up. We're hoping that tomorrow, EC will return back to the collation center and then announce the result. Otherwise, we are still seeing tensions in this particular constituency. Maybe we may be having these Ayenswano issues we're having on our hand, unfortunately.
All right. Now, going back to the issue concerning Ayenswano, is the fire service around?
Well, the fire service is around to quench the fire, and the police also pick up their men to ensure that there is peace and order in the area.
All right. We'll await some more details on this to find out exactly whether the concerns about, the NDC being the ones behind this is true or not. And so we'll come back to you again.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's continue this conversation. I mean, this issue about unhappy party members allegedly destroying property and stuff, I think we've gone over it over and over again. But let's go back to the issue of the review, and then when we get confirmation as to exactly who did this, yes.
But just quickly, if the fire service can move in, because I'm surprised that I didn't see any fire van.
Yeah, but she said they're there.
Putting out.
She said they're there.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see that in the footage. Yeah. All right. So, constitutional reform is very important, and if you look at the governance arrangements that the NDC is proposing in our manifesto, it is really at the top, because we have noticed that in as much as this constitution created a lot of discretion, hoping that we'll have presidents who will really also be conscious about the public sentiment, public perception, all of that. We saw under President Akufo-Addo that he just can't be bothered. He checked out many years ago, and he didn't care about public sentiments. So on a number of issues that discretion was allowed, we are looking now at placing fetters. For example, appointing ministers. The Constitution does not put a ceiling, but we are willing to open up for discussions now when we go into constitutional reform. We don't want to have another Akufo-Addo who will say over 120 ministers. He doesn't care the implications on the public purse. The judiciary. President Akufo-Addo abused the no ceiling. Other jurisdictions have a ceiling. In Ghana, we don't have a ceiling. So that has also been put up for us to have a national discourse. Isn't it time to have a ceiling so that we don't have all of this abuse? Then even in terms of the quality, what people should possess when it comes to these appointments, the Constitution has been a bit broad. I have served on the appointment committee in Parliament for many years. When you are really looking at the criteria, the parameters, it's just so broad, sound mind, moral turpitude, and be a citizen, and really that's it. And so we have seen the abuse. Look at some of the people who are being appointed to the bench. Known party hacks, parliamentary candidates who are clearly sent there to go and do a hatchet job. I mean, and if you look at the Afrobarometer, confidence in the judiciary is at an all-time low. The courts, 35%, all-time low. So all of these matters have come up, and Ghanaians should expect that as we go into constitutional review. And so there's going to be clearly an overhaul of the Constitution where the powers of the president will have to be tamed.
Yeah.
There have been discussions now as well within the party, even about the appointment of certain key personnel. For example, the Electoral Commission. What happens in India is really interesting. In India, they don't give all the power to one person. They say you are going to play a football match with, other teams, and then you want to choose the referee. It doesn't make sense to them. So what they do in India is that there is a public announcement, people advertise. Then the president, the opposition leader, and the chief justice form a panel, and then they select the Electoral Commission. So that's quite interesting. Kenya also has some so that it reduces the suspicion. So you now have a vicious cycle which Akufo-Addo has started, where he comes into power. I don't like Charlotte Osei. He claims he's a conveyor belt, and then they mastermind and get her out. Now people are asking, would Jimesa survive? The conveyor belt theory should continue. But we think that looking at the bigger picture, rising above the pettiness, we should have a second look at how these appointments are made. And it also fits into the appointment of the CDS, the IGP. Why is it that when you are in opposition, you don't have confidence in the security hierarchy, in those at the top, those who are appointed? And you always think that they are acting against you. But when you come into power, when you have appointed them, you appear okay, you appear fine. So these are all larger issues. But ultimately, this constitutional reform should lead to strengthening our democracy.